Our story begins today in a hospital room with a handsome young man whose heart is too weak to fight a deadly illness. His name is Jack. A voice in the background is telling the story of Sleeping Beauty, who came back to life with a kiss. But this time the story is different. It's about a sleeping prince with a weak heart, and love is his only way to survive. More specifically, the kiss of life is his only chance. But unfortunately, it's a one-sided kiss. Then appears the Lynn, who says this has always been her favorite story. Suddenly, Jack wakes up, opens his eyes but can't move from his hospital bed. The moment he sees Lynn in front of him, he gains strength and kisses her. Without warning, she steps away. And the story shifts to explain how she met a strange man who promised to grant her any wish she wanted. In return, she had to agree to give him a piece of candy every day. We then see Lynn entering a hotel. She's there to participate in a competition she has always prepared for. At the same time, Jack, his friend Dr. John, and his right-hand man Young arrive at the same hotel. They go to Jack's room, and John warns him about how quickly his condition is worsening. Within a year, Jack's heart has grown too weak. Jack says he'll try to be more careful, but he must attend an important meeting because if he doesn't, his uncle might steal the company from him. His uncle has already started spreading rumors and contacted the press to make a scandal. Lynn, meanwhile, arrives at the event hall and takes her seat. As soon as she gets there, the main judge of the competition, Bison, reacts. They were classmates. Bison had once said she was going to study pomegranate juice in France, and clearly she succeeded. Throughout the competition, Bison keeps watching Lynn, who is so focused that she can close her eyes and separate each flavor. Even imagine herself in a cave full of pomegranate juice bottles. She can even see the bottle with an eye symbol on it. She opens her eyes, writes down the name confidently, and raises her hand. Bison pretends not to be paying attention. Meanwhile, Jack and Young arrive at the meeting, and Jack asks Young if he can present the project. But Jack's uncle says, "My dear Jack, I missed you. You were away for a year developing the project abroad. That's why I want to hear it from you. Not from Young to ease my heart." Young and John wait nervously outside. Jack begins the presentation, but halfway his heart gives out and he has to sit. John and Young rush to help. Jack's uncle pretends to be worried and says, "Don't tell me the rumors are true. You're really sick and dying." John cuts in and says, "Don't worry. Jack's fine, he's just tired from the trip." They quickly take Jack away. His uncle, however, is secretly very happy they put Jack's clothes on Young, and he and John leave through the front to distract the reporters, while Jack exits through another way. Back in the hole, Bison congratulates Lynn for winning the competition. She speaks to her in French, but Lynn doesn't understand. Bison's assistant mocks Lynn by saying, "She's not like you, she studied abroad and speaks French." Bison pretends to be sad and tells Lynn, "Unfortunately, you don't have any real qualifications." Then she walks away. Lynn goes to the bathroom, but accidentally enters the men's room. She tries to motivate herself. Suddenly Jack enters. She starts shouting at him until he points out that she's the one who walked into the wrong restroom. As she tries to leave, Jack collapses. Lynn rushes to help him. She remembers her first day and training, gives him oxygen suddenly. It's like she's giving him strength. And Jack wakes up confused. He stares at her in shock. She tries to support him so they can go to the hospital. We return to the first scene of the show. The hospital room. Jack asks Lynn to sign a contract. He will grant her any wish she wants in return for letting him take one piece of candy from her every day. Lynn is shocked and says, "Is this what harassment has come to now? Shame on you." She walks away angrily. Jack looks for her, but doesn't find her. He returns to his room, and John explains Jack's condition. It's a very rare disease, only 1 in a billion get it. It's a genetic defect that causes a person to grow younger until the heart can no longer keep up and fails, unfortunately. Jack is already in stage 4 and doesn't have much time left. Young tries to comfort him, but Jack says to John, "Enough. Sit down before you bore me to death." Jack is asked about the dream girl who saved him with a kiss. He says that when Lynn gave him CPR, he felt like life returned to his body. When he woke up in the hospital, he wanted to try it again. He was almost paralyzed, But when he kissed her, he got his strength back, Doctor. John tells him that this is the first time his condition has become stable. They discover that there are some rare cases. So rare they seem like fairy tales, where certain enzymes in some people's saliva can reverse the aging process and bring the body back to normal. And it seems by luck that Lynn might have that enzyme. Young gets excited and tells Jack, bro, I'll find that girl for you and we'll test everything. Don't worry. I won't let you die before you live your best life. And enjoy your youth. That night, Bison visits Jack at the hospital. We learn that she is Jack's secretary. She's looking after the hotel, so his uncle doesn't take control of it. She reassures him that everything is under control. The next day, Lynn is at the juice shop where she works. She's kind, skilled, and very respectful. The manager keeps praising her. A man walks in and says, I want to buy your most expensive bottle. As he turns around to give her his card, it's Young. He asks, but before anything, are you in a relationship? The manager tries to ease the awkwardness, but Lynn says my personal life is separate from work. Suddenly, her boyfriend calls. She asks her sweetly, asking about his studies and calling him my little chick. He says he wants to meet her and introduce her to someone important in his life. She thinks he's finally going to propose. Her manager doesn't seem to approve of the relationship. It bothers him. Lynn goes to meet her boyfriend, who is younger than her. He shows up with a woman old enough to be his mother. Lynn politely greets her. Nice to meet you, Auntie. The woman snaps, who are you calling Auntie? Lynn, confused, says, aren't you his mother? Her boyfriend gets angry and says, she's not my aunt or mom, she's my fiancé. The love of my life. Lynn is shocked. That old lady is your fiancé. I dated you for 3 years, gave you everything. And now I find out you're into old women. The older woman is about to hit him. Suddenly, Jack and Young step in. Young reveals that he recorded a video of the scene, and unless they leave Lynn alone, he'll expose their relationship online. Scared, the couple leaves. Lynn is heartbroken. She drinks a lot of pomegranate juice and asks Jack, why is it that only little boys like me? She still thinks Jack is only 19 years old. She drinks until she passes out. Jack takes her home, but accidentally falls on top of her and kisses her again the next morning. Lynn leaves the house and is surprised to see Jack and Young outside. She says, what a coincidence you moved in next door. This must be fate. She thanks Jack for helping her. The night before, Jack realizes that she doesn't remember anything. That happened after drinking too much. He thinks to himself, what a kind girl. The next day, they meet again. By chance, Jack is coughing badly. Lynn gives him a homemade remedy. Jack thinks to himself, are you always this nice to everyone? I think I'm falling for you. Jack goes to the hospital to check his condition. John tells him it's stable. His growth hormones are increasing, but for full recovery, he needs to have candy from Lynn at least once a day. So Jack and Young try to think of a way to make this happen. The next day, Jack invites Lynn to lunch, saying it's a thank you for the cough syrup. He tries to confess his feelings, but Lynn laughs at him and jokes too. Teenage crush are the worst. Meanwhile, Jack's younger brother, Song, returns to China after a long time. He visits a place he used to go to as a child. The shop owner is happy to see him and says, it's really been 10 years. You're now the world's most pomegranate juice taster. Song remembers memories he's tried to forget. At the same time, Jack's secretary informs him that Song is back in China. They sent him an invitation, but he rejected it. He's staying at the hotel of their rival company. The secretary leaves, and Jack's sister comes in to give him his medicine. She checks on his health and says, if you're not going to get better, let's just sell the company. I feel guilty for not being able to care for you, especially since we lost Mom and Dad. Jack replies, don't say that. And even if I die, Song is still here. She responds, but he's working with other people now. Jack says it's okay. Let him live the life he wants. Meanwhile, Lena attends Song's conference. She sees him as a role model. While walking down the hallway, she smells delicious grape juice. Song appears behind her and says, if you want, try it. She suspects he might be Song, but thinks why would he leave his own conference? She tastes many different juices, identifying each type, how old it is, and where it was made. Song is impressed, he says. "You must be an expert," Lynn replies. "Not yet, I never studied abroad and don't speak French." Song offers to help her become a certified taster. She asks, "How are you going to help me?" Just then, his secretary interrupts, saying it's time for his speech. Lynn feels nervous and says, "Wow, I thought you were someone else." Song laughs. Lynn quickly follows him. During the speech, Song asks Lynn to come up and pick a juice for him. Jack watches from afar and thinks about her. After the conference, Lynn is excited. She apologizes for not recognizing him. Song says, "I like it. It lets people treat me normally." He tells her he'll send her an invitation to join his training class. Lynn hesitates. "But I've never traveled abroad and don't speak French." Song laughs and asks, "Do you love grape juice?" She says, "Absolutely." He replies, "That's all that matters." Lynn starts to feel like she's getting closer to her dream. Meanwhile, Tina, a journalist, is working on a story about Jack. She's determined to find out the truth behind his recent disappearance. She disguises herself as a cleaner and sneaks into Jack's office. She finds Young inside, who is too busy playing games to notice her. She hides behind the mannequin. Young eventually spots her and realizes she's a reporter. He tries to get her to leave. Tina returns home feeling down. She looks at pictures of Jack. When Lynn sees the photos, she reacts, "Isn't that our neighbor?" She takes Tina to see Jack. Jack is with John and Young, who say that Jack's younger brother had been abroad, which is why they look so much alike. But Lynn still isn't convinced. The next day, Lynn wakes up to a phone call. She answers. It's Tina's grandfather. She explains that Tina's her roommate. He asks about Lynn and her boyfriend. She tells them about her heartbreak, how her boyfriend left for a woman old enough to be his mom. When Lynn returns from work, Tina tells her everything that happened. Of course, the grandfather can't handle such shocking news, so he comes to visit the next day. He meets Tina and is happy to see she and Lynn are like close sisters the next day. He visits Lynn's workplace, and it turns out he and the manager were old neighbors. From Lynn's village, he's thrilled to reunite with them. When Shannon finds out about Lynn joining the hotel staff, she gets furious. She yells at her secretary, "How can you hire someone without checking with me first?" But the secretary says the request came from upper management and no one can refuse it. So Lynn starts working at the hotel. She works hard and is really happy with her job. One day, Lynn goes into the staff break room to get something for her friend, and she finds a diamond ring there. She's just about to find out who it belongs to when her co-workers walk in and suspect her. They take her to Shannon's office, and Shannon, along with her secretary, demand the police be called. Lynn remembers that one of her co-workers had installed a camera in the break room because of a mouse problem. I check the camera and find out that it was actually Santa's secretary who planted the ring. Lynn wants to call the police, but Santa stops her because it was all part of a plan to get Lynn to quit. Time passes. Lynn is doing well and gets promoted. Jack, Young, and Tina throw a party for her. Jack finds out from Tina that Shannon is targeting Lynn, especially now that Lynn got promoted. That night, Lynn feels like someone is following her. She runs and sprays pepper spray at the person, but it turns out to be Jack, who was worried about her after hearing the news about a criminal attacking people in the park. He tells her to wait while he gets eye drops. She runs from pharmacy to pharmacy looking for the drops, but most are closed because it's late. Jack, Young, and Tina get worried when she doesn't return and start looking for her. Meanwhile, the real attacker chases Lynn. She doesn't notice an open elevator shaft and falls into it. The attacker sees this and runs away. Inside the shaft, Lynn screams for help and promises herself, "If I make it out of here alive, I'll confess my love to Jack, no matter his age. I won't waste another moment without him." Jackie eventually finds her and tries to help her out, but he's weak and falls in with her. He asks her for raisins, and she gives them to him. They get out safely just then. Tina and Young appear. They've caught the attacker. The next day, Lynn is in the hospital. Her legs were injured. She starts practicing how to confess her love to Jack. John, Young, and Tina overhear her saying, "I've loved him since the first time I saw him." Suddenly, Jack walks in and says, "Why are you all standing here like that?" Lynn is embarrassed when she realizes they all heard her after everyone leaves. Jack's sister comes in and says that Dr. Young told her about the raising cure. Jack admits that he really loves Lynn. And it's not just because she helps his condition. His sister says, "I'm okay with it as long as you're happy. But don't tell her about your illness just yet. You just started your relationship, and it could cause problems." Later, Lynn goes back to the hotel after recovering. She learns about the monthly employee elimination system based on staff reviews. Her co-workers are stressed about it. Lynn reassures them and she has a plan to beat the unfair system. She explains her idea. Senan overhears everything at the meeting. Senan says, "Someone is trying to cheat the elimination system. If you don't tell me who, you'll be fired too." Just as Lynn's co-workers are about to speak, Lynn steps forward and says, "It was me, I suggested it. The system is unfair and causes employees to constantly fear being fired. So why would they give their best?" She argues with Senan. Jack's uncle is in the meeting too and reports the issue to the head office. The company investigates and finds that the system does more harm than good. So they cancel its Signans, furious. Jack's uncle tries to use the situation to win Signan to his side, but she still supports Jack in the company. That night, Jack invites Lynn to dinner. She plans to bring food from her favorite restaurant. While picking up the food, she runs into Song, who's happy to see her. He says, "I come here every day hoping to run into you." He's upset she missed the last competition. Lynn says she was there and remembered his advice. She even prepared a juice blend based on what he said. Song's impressed. He's never tasted anything like it. He asks her to let him try the juice. When she does, he says, "It's perfect. It fits the theme of returning home. This should have won first place, but I don't remember tasting this at the contest." He suspects someone tampered with Lynn's juice. They tested several times and discover that someone added something to change the flavor. Lynn is shocked. Song tells her to think hard about who might be targeting her. She refuses to accuse anyone without proof. Song is upset she didn't get into his class, so he offers to make her his assistant. To celebrate, he invites her to dinner, but she declines. She has plans with her boyfriend. She tells her boyfriend is the youngest son of the Ron family and just came back to town. Song realizes Jack is pretending to be someone else. He says, "That's great. Tell your boyfriend I said hi. We go way back." Lynn promises to pass along the message. When she meets Jack later that night, he's a little upset she's late. She says, "I have good news. You'll forgive me for being late." She tells him about her conversation with Song. Jack panics. He grabs her arm and begs, "Promise me no matter what happens, you'll keep loving me and never leave me." Lynn is confused, but agrees because she loves him deeply. The next day, Song visits Jack and threatens him. "If you don't tell Lynn the truth, it'll end badly for you." Lynn starts her training with Song. She becomes his official assistant. After class, Senan mocks her, but this time Lynn stands her ground. "I know everything I didn't tell Song, because if he found out what you did, your reputation would be ruined. No one in this field would work with you again." Later, Jack meets Lynn and brings her a gift, a pair of stylish, comfortable high heels. He knows she walks a lot and wants her to be comfortable. He tells her that Song is holding another conference soon and, as his assistant, she'd be on stage with him. He wants her to wear the shoes to look good and feel comfortable. Lynn is so happy that Jack notices even the smallest things. At the conference, Song also gives Lynn high heels. He tells her, "I appreciate those who work with me." But Lynn wears Jack's shoes, not Song's. Song asks, "Why didn't you wear my gift?" She makes an excuse about the heel. He says it's fine but asks her to wear them later, since she'd be joining him on stage as the assistant of the most famous juice expert in France and China. She can't believe this is happening. After the event, she meets Jack, who immediately notices her swollen feet. She explained she was wearing because it was part of the show, not personal. Song arrives and greets Jack. "Hey, big brother, how you doing?" Lynn is confused. "Big brother?" He looks younger than you." Song laughs and tells her, "Jack pretended to be me for fun. That's just who he is. He'll keep lying to you." Then their sister arrives and scolds Song for treating his family like this. She says there's no need for all this drama. Song tells Lynn they're a bunch of liars. "They'll keep fooling you." He drags her away. Later at a restaurant, he drinks a pomegranate juice and confesses his love to Lynn. He says he's ready to give up everything for her. But Lynn tells him she loves Jack and wants to hear what he has to say. Song is upset. He thinks Jack always gets everything he wants. Lynn returns home to find Jack and Young waiting. She ignores them and goes inside. They knock and she opens the door and invites them in, demanding an explanation. Young explains, "We didn't want to lie to you. Jack has a rare condition that makes him look younger. If the media or enemies of the company find out, it could destroy everything." He says Tina is a journalist. If she found out, it would be all over the news. Tina confirms this. If the press found out, it would have caused a massive scandal for the Ron family and their entire business. Lynn's heart softens. All she cares about is Jack's health. Jack tries to explain but more. Young stops him eventually. Jack and Lynn make up. They go to work hand in hand, and everyone sees they're officially a couple. Sanan is furious. She goes to Jack's uncle, who tries to use the situation to turn her against Jack, but she refuses, saying her loyalty to Jack hasn't changed. She trusts him completely. One day, all the department heads have a meeting, and they ask Jane, "Is there something wrong with Jack's health? He's been missing a lot lately." Lynn returns to work and learns about a new monthly elimination system on employee reviews. Everyone is anxious, but Lynn encourages and suggests a clever way to avoid being eliminated. Sinyan overhears everything. During the next staff meeting, she brings it and demands to know who's trying to cheat the system. Just as Lynn's co-workers are about to be blamed, Lynn bravely stands up and admits it was her idea. She argues the system is unfair and makes employees live in fear of being fired, at any moment, killing their motivation. Jack's uncle and the secretary report everything to upper management. After an investigation, the company decides to cancel the elimination system, agreeing with Lynn's logic. Din Young is furious. Jack's uncle tries to manipulate her and win her over, but she still wants Jack and the company for herself. That evening, Jack invites Lynn to dinner and surprises her with a thoughtful gift, high heels that are comfortable, because he knows she's always on her feet. He also tells her that Song, Jack's younger brother, is holding a big conference at their hotel in 2 days. And since she's his assistant now, she'd be on stage with him. Jack wants her to look great and feel comfortable, so he asks her to wear the shoes. Later, Lynn runs into Song by chance. He's thrilled to see her and says he's been coming to that spot every day to see her. Song is a little disappointed she didn't attend the competition, but she explains that she did. She had even created a juice inspired by his words. When he tries it, he's shocked. He says it's exactly the flavor he had envisioned. They decide to do a test and discover someone had tampered with her original juice. During the competition, Song suspects someone is targeting Lynn and tells her to be careful. He offers to make her his full-time assistant. And she accepts. He invites her to dinner to celebrate, but she politely declines. She already has plans with her boyfriend. When Song finds out her boyfriend is the youngest son of the family, he realizes Jack has been using his identity. Song warns Lynn to tell her boyfriend that they've met, as they know each other well from a long time ago. That night, when Lynn meets Jack, she tells him the good news. Jack becomes tense and asks her to promise she loves him. No matter what happens, she agrees, confused but sincere. The next day, Song visits Jack and threatens him. Either he tells Lynn the truth or Song will. Classes with Song begin and Lynn stands up to Din Yan, putting her in her place. She tells her that she's known the whole time that Din Yan was behind the sabotage, but she didn't expose her, because doing so would ruin Din Yan's reputation. Later, Jack surprises Lynn with another gift, beautiful heels for the upcoming conference. Song also gives her shoes. At the event, Lynn wears Jack's shoes, not Song's. Song notices and asks why. She explains the other pair was more comfortable. Song doesn't push, but reminds her she be on stage needs to look her best. After the conference, Jack sees that Lynn's feet are swollen and feels bad. She reassures him the shoes were just for work, that they were a gift from Song. Suddenly, Song shows up and coldly greets Jack as my big brother. Lynn is shocked. Song tells her that Jack impersonated him for fun and that she shouldn't believe anything he says. Their sister arrives and scolds Song for how cruel he's being. Song storms off with Lynn, warning her that Jack and his group are all liars, who've only been deceiving her. Later, over dinner, Song confesses he loves and Lynn, is willing to give up everything to be with her. But Lynn tells him she loves Jack and needs to hear his side of the story. Back home, Jack and Young are waiting for Lynn. She tries to ignore them, but eventually agrees to sit down and hear the truth. Young explains everything. Jack has a rare condition that makes him look younger than his age, and they were afraid the press would find out, especially since Tina's a journalist. If the secret came out, Jack could lose the company. Jack had fallen in love with Lynn, but was afraid to tell her the truth. Tina confirms the danger from the press was real, and that the Ron family has powerful enemies who would exploit any weakness. Lynn's heart softens. Her only concern now is Jack's health. She forgives Jack. And the next day they walk into work hand in hand. Everyone notices and Sinyan is furious. She tries to tell Jack that Lynn comes from a poor background and isn't worthy of him, but Jack shuts her down and tells her to never speak another word against her future wife. Even Jack's uncle tries to manipulate the situation, but Lynn remains loyal to Jack because of everything he's done for her. In a big meeting with the heads of department, Jack's uncle suspiciously asks if his Jack's health is okay, as he's been missing a lot lately. The rumors keep spreading. The uncle signals his accomplice, who stands up and suggests they find a new chairman. Just as he's about to nominate the uncle, Jack walks in, shocking them. John quickly covers, saying, "Our uncle was just worried about your health." This leaves the uncle and his partner in a very awkward position. The next day, Jean and her uncle are at the hotel, an important guest. It's Nana, the daughter of their rival company's owner. But when Nana gets out of the car, she runs to hug Tina. We learn that despite their companies being rivals, great friends, almost like sisters. This annoys Uncle Dong, who feels his chance at taking over is slipping away. They all sit down and Dong tries to get close to Nana. But she only listens to Zhang, keeps asking about Jack. Dong's pituitary tells him it will be hard to win Nana because she's completely under Zhang's influence. Lin understands why he hates his family, tells him there must have been a reason, and Zhang must have had her reasons. Meanwhile, Jack is at home and feels a sharp pain. He calls John, who examines him and tells him his condition is critical. John gets angry at Jack blaming him for his own state. He goes to Tina and Lynn and shows them everything Jack did for her, and that Sinan is gone from their lives for good. He tells them he's been friends with Jack since they were kids, and Jack never did these things for anyone until Lynn came into his life. She takes one step for him, and he takes 100 for her. He says Lynn is deeply moved. As Young is leaving, he tells her Jack's condition is very serious. She goes to him and asks, "Why do you look like this?" "Just exhaustion," Jack replies. "Then rest," she says. "I'll make you some healthy herbs." When she's done, she finds him asleep, looking pale and worn out. "I thought you'd be better if I left your life. Why did you end up like this?" she wonders. She decides to gather Tina, John, and Young to plan a surprise for Jack, so they can make up and get back together. She prepares a surprise and takes Jack to the spot. As they make up, she signals Young to turn on the lights. A wire sparks, electrocuting both Young and Jack. Tina kicks him away from the electricity and scolded Young. Hey, the important thing is that they made up. And gave him a reason. A kiss, everything's fine. He says if it weren't for the good outcome, I would have killed you, she replies. The next day, they take her things back to Jack's house. Jack goes to Jean to tell her he's back with Lynn, and this time he wants to get serious and marry her. He asks for her blessing. Jean is shocked and clearly disapproves. Lynn continues working with Song, and they review the final versions of their products. Lynn is hesitant, but Song tells her to trust herself. Just then, Jack arrives and takes Lynn to lunch. Song is visibly annoyed when Jack leaves. Lynn gives Song the final versions. He gets angry that she changed them to be sweeter. Please go back to the old version. He says we're presenting something sophisticated, not something for the masses. Linda's depressed and goes to Jack for advice. He's surprised she changed her plan again and reminds her to follow her heart. She had wanted to make a drink that anyone could afford and enjoy with barbecue, because a drink should represent its creator, not just be a product. His words encourage her, and she decides to stick to her opinion. She manages to convince Song, and the new products are a huge hit. However, Song's drinks sell slowly online. Lynn suggests they do a live stream like Tina, the famous YouTuber. It works and orders start pouring in. Jack comes to support them and offers to buy a large order for his hotel. But when he arrives, he finds Song yelling at Lynn for her methods, saying he doesn't want his sophisticated products. Marketed this way, Jack tells him, "Let me prove to you that this is what works and is crucial for marketing." He joins the live stream with Tina and Lynn. He talks about how he felt loved when he drank Lynn's peach drink and that the products are high quality. The live stream and orders explode. The next day, Song's secretary informs them that, thanks to Lynn's live stream, they've made huge profits, and websites are begging to be their distributors. Song realizes he was wrong about Lynn and that his old way of thinking won't get him anywhere. He decides to throw a party to celebrate and introduce Lynn as his student and partner. At the party, Lynn is very happy. The secretary tells her that the small change she added before the product's launch made the taste incredible. Lynn is confused because she didn't add anything. She tasted drink and realizes it's different from the last version she gave Song when she confronts him. He admits he used the old version and made a small change because he knew what was best. She gets very angry, telling him she wanted to express herself, not someone else, and that he should have accepted her for who she is. Their conversation is interrupted by the secretary, who tells Song someone wants to meet him. He leaves and Lynn is so upset that the bottle falls from her hand and shatters. After the party, Lynn goes to resign her job with Song. "Please calm down," he says. "Before you say anything, let me take you to dinner so we can talk." They go to the room, and he finally confesses his love to her. Meanwhile, Jack has arrived at the party and asks for Lynn. The secretary tells him they're on the roof. Song is trying to convince Lynn not to leave, telling her he loves her and can give her everything Jack can. Lynn tells him, "You don't love me. You just want to take something from Jack. You've said it yourself before." Just then, Jack arrives and takes Lynn's hand to leave. Song says, "How about a game of basketball like old times?" Jack agrees, but let's make a bet. Song says when Jack asked what the bet is. Song says the winner gets to kiss Lynn. Jack gets furious and punches him, telling him his love is not a subject for a bet or part of their feud before they leave. Lynn tells Song, "I love and respect you as my teacher and role model. You have a good, pure heart inside you, like a hero. Don't let your past hatred and sadness control you." The next day, she and Jack go to submit her resignation to Song, but they're interrupted by the secretary, who informs them that their partner has all his shares to Jack's sister Zhang. Song gets angry and confronts Zhang at her company, yelling at her and bringing up the accident. Zhang defends herself and Song storms out. Jack enters and asks her why she didn't tell him the truth. "Just leave him," she says. "He's still immature. In time, he'll realize he was wrong." Lynn decides to start her own brand. Jack Young and John become her partners, and they name the brand Kiss of Love. With the help of experts, Lynn produces her first line of products. Tina makes a deal with the famous YouTuber. To promote their product, the YouTuber remembers Lynn and tells Tina she'd think about it. On the day of the broadcast, they're waiting for her, but Lynn discovers she signed a contract with Song. Instead, Linda decides to host a broadcast herself, just as she did for Song that night. She's depressed because the broadcast wasn't as successful as Song's. But Young, who studied business, cheers her up, showing her that the return on investment was good for the number of viewers. They celebrate and drink together. Tina uses the moment to ask Young, "So you really love me?" He nervously replies, "Isn't it obvious I'm head over heels for you?" Tina is overjoyed. The next day, Tina makes breakfast for Young. He's afraid she'd be mad about what happened, but finds she accepts it and has feelings for him too. He finally thinks about settling down. Meanwhile, Jack is at John's for a checkup. John assures them that he's now a normal person. If he continues his relationship with Lynn, he can live a normal life. But Jack feels guilty because Lynn still doesn't know the whole truth. Young brishes and announces he's going to marry Tina. They are shocked because Young is known as a player, but he tells them love changes people. The next day at the office, Tina announces that the YouTuber broke her contract with Song because she doesn't like working with liars. Jack and John feel like their hearts are going to stop. They convinced Jack he has to tell Lynn the truth, but John and Young disagree. News breaks that Uncle Dom sold his shares to a foreign investor and has left them with nothing. The company is in a critical situation and their stock has plummeted. Linda decides that she needs to become stronger and expand in the market to support Jack. Since they are partners, she decides to enter an international competition to help Jack when she wins. She enters and wins first place. They have a small party, and Lynn decides to propose to Jack. She knows he's going through a tough time. That's probably why he's hesitating. She tells him she won and will soon be one of the richest beverage merchants in China, so she wants to support and care for him for the rest of her life. But Jack refuses. Lynn throws a ring box into the sea and runs off, crying hysterically. Tina doesn't understand what's happening and runs after her. They learn that Jack wants to marry her, but there's something he can't tell her that is making him hesitate. Lynn returns home to find Jack asleep, and Sinan is sitting downstairs. Lynn thanks her, but Sinan coldly says, "No, thank you. You made my night. When I found out you proposed and he rejected you. Thanks for your trouble," Lynn says. "Please leave." Sinan laughs and says, "I'm not the only one leaving. You're leaving too." In the end, he's in a bad situation and will have to marry Nana to save the company. Lynn replies, "I won the competition. I have 10 million and new supporters." Sinan scoffs at her and leaves. When Jack wakes up, he finds a note from Lynn saying she's gone for good. He is shocked and looks for her. He gathers Tina, John, and young Tina gets in a huge fight with him for not appreciating what Lynn does for him. John tries to find Lynn by tracing her phone and signal. Finds she's heading south. Tina tells him she must be going to her grandfather's. John goes with Jack and tells him he reviewed the house cameras and saw Susan Nunn was the one who brought him was drunk and taunted Lynn about him not wanting to marry her. The next day, Lynn is with her grandfather, getting ready to work on the farm when Song shows up. Surprising her, he introduces himself to her grandfather. The grandfather leaves him alone. Song asks, "So, does this mean you'll stop loving Jack and give me a chance?" Lynn just stares at him. He laughed and says, Okay, don't scare me." Meanwhile, Lynn arrives at the hotel. Sinan calls out to her and says, "I feel so sorry for you, Lynn. You didn't even get a chance to be happy with Jack." Lynn is confused, but then realizes Sinan is talking about Nana, who has just returned from abroad. Everyone knows Jack doted on Nana, and there were old plans for them to marry and merge their companies. Sina walks away happy. She upset Lynn after work. Lynn goes to buy juice and coincidentally meets Nana, not knowing who she is. The seller tries to overcharge Nana for a peach drink. Lynn, knowing the real price, steps in and tells Nana she knows a cheaper place. The nervous seller quickly offers a discount. Nana is thrilled and gives Lynn a bottle as a thank you gift. In return, Lynn invites her to her favorite barbecue spot. The two get along great, encouraging each other and talking about their boyfriends, not realizing they're both talking about Jack. The next day, Jing tells Nana the truth. Jack is in a relationship. Nana is but sad, promises she won't force Jack to be with her. That night, the power goes out in Lynn's apartment. Since Sinan isn't there, she feels scared and calls Jack. He takes her to his own apartment, but finds the password has been changed. John calls and confesses. He cut the power and changed the password, giving Jack an excuse to take Lynn to his villa. At the beautiful villa, Lynn is amazed. Jack tells her the apartment was nicer because they were neighbors. But now any place is beautiful as long as she's there. He tells her she's the first and last girl he will ever bring home, and that he truly wants to marry her. Lynn finally feels like she has found someone to make up for her past hardships. Meanwhile, Nana is with Song at her family's hotel. We learned they also grew up together. She convinces him to host a family dinner so they can all be together again. Song teases her. "You just want an excuse for Jack to come." She keeps pleading until he agrees. Song calls Jack, who agrees to come, but says he's bringing his girlfriend. Song hears this and laughs at Nana. Nana gets annoyed and asks Song why Jack is so serious about this girl and why Zhang is okay with it. Song tells her honestly, Lynn is a beautiful culture girl with a great knowledge of juice. I believe she will be great in this field. Nana gets upset and says, "Even you." After a moment, she says, "Wait, I feel like you have a crush on her too." Song tries to deny it, but Nana knows him well. "Don't be nervous," she says. "I've known you since we were kids. You always want whatever Jack has." Song looks at her coldly and replies, "You always want to use me in your plans. Don't even try the day of the dinner arrives." Zhang is the first to get there. Nana greets her and asks about Jack. Zhang teases her, "Is Jack the only one you care about?" Just then Zhang walks in. "What are you doing here?" Zhang asks. Nana defends him, saying she invited him because he's part of the family. Then Jack and Lynn arrive. Nana greets Sam in a surprise to see Lynn. Have you two met before? Zhang asks. They explain what happened at the juice shop. Nana happily accepts Jack's gift, saying he always gives the best presents. When she opens it, she's thrilled he knows what she likes. Jack says, "Of course, I know what you like. We grew up together. You're like a sister to me." Just like Zhang. Nana is hurt that he insisted on seeing her as a. Jack then adds that he didn't pick the gift alone. It was all Lynn's taste throughout dinner. Nana tries to annoy Lynn, but Jack treats her with love. He tells Nana, "One day when you're in a relationship, you'll find someone who treats you this well. Or even better, the atmosphere is tense." So Lynn suggests she, Nana, and Zhang go have a drink. The next day, things at the hotel are tense. Sinan is on edge. Her colleague tells her that a famous YouTuber is coming to review the hotel today. And her opinion is very influential. Sinan goes to Lynn for her opinion. Drink to serve, pretending to be friendly. She plans to serve the drink herself, to take all the credit. When the YouTuber arrives, she asks for Lynn. Sinan says, "Oh, she's just a waitress. I am the director of services, and I will be serving you myself." The YouTuber tastes the drink and says, "Okay, let's film the review." Sinan asks for a picture with her, which annoys the YouTuber, but she agrees afterward. She gives the hotel a terrible review. She says she was excited because of the hotel's reputation, especially since they make their own juice. But she was disappointed. Sinan gets angry, stops the camera, and yells at her. "Why are you doing this? Are you here to blackmail us? Tell me how much money you want." The YouTuber is offended. "You're questioning my integrity. Trust me, I will make you pay for this." Dong arrives and asks what's wrong. Lynn tastes the drink and notices a strange taste. The YouTuber is impressed by her talent. "Bravo, it's true that not everyone in power is talented." She promises to change her review if Lynn can find the problem. Dong warns Lynn that she be fired if she can't. Lynn agrees, confident in herself. She investigates and discovers the cause. In the summer, they freeze the pouring tools to keep the juice cold. The tools were stored in a kitchen fridge that also had eggs, and they absorbed the faint smell of eggs. She has her colleague apologize, since it was his mistake. The smell was so faint that a normal person wouldn't notice, but the talented YouTuber did. The YouTuber praises Lynn, wondering why someone so talented is just a waitress. She decides to do a new live stream to not just raise the rating, but also to thank Lynn. Dong and Sinan are asked, a talent like her is just a waitress. A nervous Dong claims Lynn was just in training, and because she proved herself, she is being promoted to director of services along with Sinan. Sinan is furious about being humiliated because of Lynn. Lynn returns depressed home and finds Jack waiting for her. He was supposed to be gone for another week, but came back for her. He promises her the truth will come out and comforts her. She feels safe with him there to protect her. The next day, Jack investigates at the company. He tells Zhang he suspects someone is conspiring against them. Zhang says she also suspects and that it's normal for this to happen because she is young, but Jack says it happened because he failed to protect her. Meanwhile, Sinan storms into Dong's office. She yells at him the plan was to get Lynn fired, not to damage the company's reputation. He coolly replies, "I didn't do this. Things just got out of control." She realizes he planned to harm the company to take Jack's place. She leaves, angry that she helped him. The next day, Jack and Young are in the office. When the secretary runs in with proof, Jack goes with him to the hospital to confront the man who made the false claims. They show him his good health reports. The man gets nervous. The secretary hands him a check and Jack says, "It's a small gift for helping us uncover the truth without getting you in trouble." The man confesses everything. Jack confronts the telling her the man confessed everything about her. She admits she did it out of jealousy, but didn't know things would go this far. She blames Dong, who pushed her, and promised they would only lead to Lynn getting fired. She also reveals she has recordings of all their agreements. Jack takes the recordings and agrees with Zhang that Dong must leave. They will also suspend Sinan and then fire her. Zhang says Sinan's family is to blame for her mental state. Then Zhang goes to provoke her uncle, revealing the truth bit by bit. He gets nervous and asks her what she's trying to say. She plays the recording and tells him, "You have two choices. Either you resign or I give this to the police. We are family, but there's a limit to our patience." Jack enters and informs him that on behalf of the board, he is fired and banned from the group. He will only receive his yearly share of the profits. He also tells her that Nana's father called and revealed the whole plot was to lower their stock value, so a secret beer could take over. After work, Jack is at home cooking when Lynn returns. Are we celebrating something? He tells her everything that happened, that the truth came out. And the press now knows the incident was sabotage. They also checked the supplier and manufacturer and found their reputations were solid, so they will continue working with them. Lynn is overjoyed that her name is cleared, and they even made a deal with her agent. They go to an amusement park to celebrate, but their happiness is short-lived. They get news that a photo Lynn sent to Jack has been leaked and everyone's talking about it, causing a huge scandal. Jack and Lynn rush back to the company. Jack tells Lynn to wait downstairs while he handles it. He goes to a meeting where Zhang says they should claim the photo is fake and put all the blame on Lynn. Jacob Jackson tries to explain that Lynn would never do such a thing. But Zhang is unconvinced. She says Lynn is obviously jealous of Nana and leaked the photo to keep other women away from Jack. Just then Nana calls and tells she have her father find out who did it. Zhang tells Jack, see, now we owe Nana's family because of your girlfriend. First the drink incident and now this photo. She's just an impulsive teenager. Jack isn't convinced and asks her to delay firing until Lynn. The truth comes out. Lynn goes for a walk and runs into the spiteful Who gloats, I wonder how you got to Jack and got promoted so now quickly. Everything is clear what's gonna happen now. Lynn, heartbroken, says, what's between me and Jack is our business. You're just a jealous woman. Sinong coldly replies, jealous maybe, but not cheap like you in the end. Everything I couldn't have. You didn't get either. She leaves Lynn sitting on the ground devastated, repeating, I didn't do it. That night, Yuan comes to see Jack. Lynn asks him, you believe me, right? I didn't do it, he says. I believe you, but how do we get here? I told you not to send the photo to anyone. She replies, so you don't. Believe me, she gets up, speaks to him formally, and runs out crying. Jack remembers Zhang's words. The best thing for them to do now is to break up. Lynn goes back to her apartment with Tina, and when she goes out to buy a drink, she returns to find the power and she forgot her key. As she's sitting outside the door, Song shows up, worried about her. Why are you sitting out here? He asks. She explains she forgot her phone inside. He's surprised she's alone without Jack. He understands what happened and takes her to get breakfast. Since the sun is coming up, he tries to comfort her, telling her he was always a top student who wanted his parents' attention, but they only cared about his older brother Jack. Even when he got first place, they didn't care because they were always busy with Jack. That's just how life is. You don't have to do anything wrong to get hurt. Sometimes you just get hurt for no reason. Lynn tells him she resigned and is in a lot of pain and tells her he'll always be there for her. Having made her decision, she goes to Jack's villa and packs her things. As she leaves, she sends him a message saying she's leaving him and choosing herself. Jack rushes home and bangs at her door. Tina tells him Lynn wants to be alone, and if he really loves her, he should find who leaked the photo and clear her name. Indeed, Yuying manages to discover everything and proves Sunan is guilty. She had entered Lynn's office, taken the photo from her phone, and posted it after being fired over the incident with Dong. Zhang summons and tells her she has lost her last chance. Sanan falls to her knees and begs, but Zhang ignores her and tells her to finalize Sanan's termination. The hotel. Jack goes to meet tells Lynn. Her he solved the problem and exposed what Sinan did. But Lynn says she was right. She said, I don't deserve you. And I think she's right. Congratulations to you and Nana. At least Nana's loved one can solve your problems. Jack tries to explain, but Lynn refuses to listen. She tells him she's tired and can't continue. She walks away, leaving him heartbroken. Tina meets with and tells him that Lynn has accepted Song's to work with him and create their own drink. Young gets nervous. Song is a fox. This is going to get really complicated. He rushes to tell Jack, but he just says the most important thing is that she's happy. Days pass and Lynn starts working with Things Song. Are going well, but Jack's health is deteriorating. John tells him he has to get Lynn back because his condition is now dangerous. Jack says, if I bring her back just because she's my carer, then I don't deserve her. I truly love her. But she's happy now and building her life. I can't ruin that for her. The advertisement for Song and Lynn's new product is released. Lynn is happy, but Song already knew they would succeed. Asks, but am I better than Jack now? Lynn explains each specializes in something different, and it's not about who is better, but about doing what you love and succeeding. She also reminds him that they are family, and there shouldn't be comparisons. He bitterly replies, "He forgot we were family a long time ago, on the day of the accident, when Zhang saved Jack, left him in the car to watch their parents die." Just then, Jack arrives. He apologizes for being late, explaining he had something to finish. Song gets angry. "Are you just going to keep hurting her?" He says, "This is between me and Lynn." "Stay out of it," Jack replies. Her grandfather comes out, happy to see Jack, and tells Lynn that Jack is a good person and she should trust him. Lynn returns with Jack, who takes her to a conference he's holding. Tina arrives, very worried about Lynn. They're shocked to see Jack on stage with Nana on his arm. Lynn is upset, thinking he's going to propose to Nana and brought her here to hurt her. But Young stops her. "Wait, listen to him first." Jack announces that Nana will be investing heavily in the company, but that's a secondary announcement. The real announcement is coming now. Nana is annoyed, thinking he was going to propose to her, and gets off the stage. Jack takes Lynn's hand, brings her on stage, and proposes to her in front of everyone. The next day, Jack decides to tell Sung the truth. He gives him the contact information for the paramedic who saved him that day. Sung meets the paramedic, who tells him that Jack's condition was critical, and his sister tried to go back for Sung, but the paramedic stopped her because Jack was bleeding heavily. Sung is filled with regret for living 17 years away from his family because of a misunderstanding. Young and Tina are together, and Tina feels something is wrong. She pressures Young until he tells her about Jack's illness and how Lynn is the cure. She gets angry. "I knew something was up." Young tries to explain that Jack truly loves Lynn, separate from his illness. She's about to go tell Lynn, but changes her mind when she learns they're going for their wedding photo shoot tomorrow. The next day, Lynn goes with Young and Tina to a bridal shop. Jack has booked the entire store for her for the day. Meanwhile, Sinan has heard the news and is drinking. Depressed, John finds her and tries to comfort her. She asks him to bring her favorite food, and since John adores Sinan, he agrees. Lynn chooses a beautiful dress and comes out to show Tina and Young, who are stunned as they get ready for the photo shoot. John returns and looks for Sinan. He's shocked to find her in the bathtub, having cut her wrist and trying to stop the bleeding with a tissue. His phone rings. He answers it and then thinks about saving her. "Are you crazy doing this for a guy who doesn't love you? You have your dream, your family." "All of us," but Sinan says her family only sees her as a source of money. Her dream is gone and her Prince Charming is gone. So John tells her the whole story about Lynn, Saliva, and Jack's illness, explaining their meeting was fated and they were made for each other. Meanwhile, Jack goes to Song to invite him to the wedding and stop him from moving back to France. He tells him the truth about his illness and how Lynn is his cure, but that he truly loves her. Sung is shocked and feels guilty. Jack asks him to stay and run the company after he's gone, as he doesn't know how long he has left. He also tells him he reopened the case of their parents' death and discovered their Uncle Dong was behind everything. He's given the evidence to the police. Sung asks him not to tell Jean yet, as she doesn't need another shock. Jack is happy that Sung has finally reconciled with Jean. The spiteful Sinan, having barely bled, goes and tells Lynn everything. It's true that fools live happily, she says, and leaves before Jack and the others arrive. Lynn continues with the wedding photo shoot, but she is distant and distracted. She asks Tina if they can leave because she doesn't feel well. She goes home and keeps replaying everything in her mind. The first time she gave him CPR, how he wanted to make a contract with her for kisses to confirm her suspicions. She goes to the hospital, sneaks into John's office, and finds a file detailing everything she remembers. Sanan's words, "You're just a cure to him." She breaks down, unable to believe her love could be used this way. Days pass and it's the day of the engagement party. Everyone is happy and taking pictures, but Lynn is lost in her thoughts. Nana arrives to congratulate them. When John arrives, he takes Jack aside and tells him that Lynn knows everything. Jack is shocked. Nana starts talking, and Lynn walks over to them. "What are you talking about?" "Nothing," Jack says. "Just childhood memories." She smiles slightly. "Right, there are a lot of secrets I don't know." Jack gets nervous. What's wrong, Lynn? You've been distant since the photo shoot. She says I'm going to ask you a question. And please answer honestly. But Song interrupts him. He congratulates them. But Lynn ignores him and asks Jack, have you ever lied to me? He hesitates and then says no. She asks again one last time, have you ever lied to me? He gets nervous and says no. Lynn walks away, smashes the pictures, and runs out of the party, leaving everyone in shock. Shannon, of course, is standing there looking pleased. John and Jack tell her to consider herself out of their lives. Jack thanks her because he would never have been able to continue his life with Lynn based on a lie, and she helped him say what he couldn't. They leave her. Tina runs after Lynn and understands everything. She knows Jack truly loves her. Young sends Jack a partnership termination contract from Lynn. Jack finds Lynn and says, take your time. I don't want to separate from you. I wrote you a letter a while ago, but never had the courage to send it. When Lynn gets home, she reads the letter. In it, Jack explains everything. That at first it was about saving his life, but over time he truly fell in love with her, and her love became his real cure. But as they got closer, it became harder to confess. Just then, Jack arrives and begs her to let him in. He tries to force a reconciliation, but she gets angry and slaps him. He hands her the original contract he wanted to make with her, where she would give him a kiss every day in exchange for any wish he wanted. She tears it up. Do you think I'm that cheap? She yells and throws him out. Lynn tries to find a new partner, but only finds one person who asks her to create a new drink with an inspiring love story. Tina tells her that he's right. The company was built on her and Jack's story, and she should either go back to him or at least try to save him because he's not doing well. She agrees to collaborate with him, but on her own terms in her heart. She's doing it to save his life because she still loves him. At the hospital, the medical team meets and explains Jack's situation to Lynn. The surgery isn't guaranteed to work, and Jack has refused to have anyone with him in case he doesn't make it. The head doctor tells her that Jack would have been dead long ago, but his body can no longer heal from her saliva. Lynn breaks down, but Zhang holds her hand, telling her that she's grateful that Jack got to live another 6 months, fall in love, and be happy with them. Lynn stands up and says she won't give up hope. She will spend the remaining time with him before he leaves for his surgery. She spends all her time with Jack at the hospital, making more memories. One day she arrives, but he's gone. He's left her a note saying that he had to leave, but will try to come back for her. He says he changed him for the better and taught him to care about others. He talks about their memories and how her heart is pure like a crystal. He tells her that when he wanted to take his first love to that special place, he was already with his first love that day because she is his first and last love. She imagines him next to her, remembering his words, and completely breaks down. When she stands up, she faints. Young and Tina rush her to the hospital. Song arrives, and John tells him her condition isn't physical. It's the beginning of depression. If it worsens, it can lead to hallucinations, frequent fainting, and even suicide. Lynn starts visiting all the places they went to together. Days pass with no news of Jack. She throws herself into her work and eventually announces a new product Hope for the future. But at the conference, she faints and is taken to the hospital again. They let her rest, but when Tina comes to check on her, she's gone. Lynn has gone to the place where she last saw Jack. Just as she's about to leave, she sees Jack standing in front of her. She thinks she's hallucinating, but when she faints, Jack runs and catches her.